Hi guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kiersey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. I got asked for some tips and tricks on how to pass the CDL exam and what you can do to calm your nerves and that sort of thing. You know, it can be really overwhelming. People want a career change, and some people are really gambling everything on this new career path. So just the anxiety of, you know, am I going to make enough money? Am I going to find a job? Can I even drive the rig? How hard is the backing going to be? And then when you're put under time constraints where the training programs are only so long, or the CDL school is only so long before you have to pay them extra money, you know, that puts a lot of pressure on you. So stick around, and we're going to be discussing, you know, tips that you can do to try to calm yourself and to get past the CDL exam. Okay, I said in another video that knowledge is power, and that's so true. So if you really feel confident in what you're doing, that nervousness is going to go away, and it's going to reduce your anxiety levels, and it's going to allow you to make less mistakes. So you need to try to prepare yourself as much as possible. Really learn the pre-trip. Okay, this can be difficult because, one, you know, I learned it before I even came to school. I came to Prime, and before I even came to Prime, I wound up learning all the parts and the wording from Apex Driving School. It's a YouTube video out there that really helped me. The video is 5 years old, so some of the wording on the in-cab inspection, I think that's really the only wording that's changed. It has to do with the brake test, the air brake test. And when it comes to the air brakes, you do have to pass the air brake test, or it's an automatic fail on the pre-trip. So the first thing to do is be as prepared as possible. Second thing is understand that the examiners want you to pass. You know, they're not mean, miserable people. They're, you know, they're good people just like you are. They don't want to see you fail. So it's not some evil guy that's trying to, you know, take check marks and deduct points like, you know, some crazy mad scientist or something. They want you to pass. So when it comes to the pre-trip, understand that you do get partial credit for items. So for example, you know, here's my airbag. It's properly mounted and secured at both ends. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and it's not leaking. Okay. So imagine you said all that, but you forgot the not leaking. That's not a failure for that part. That just means that you might have been able to score higher. You still got all the credit for everything you said right. So you're not going to lose points for overstating either. Say you put not leaking on a part that doesn't leak. They're not going to deduct points from you. If you say not leaking on every part, though, they might get a little crazy and then, you know, think that you're being, you know, overstating things. So they might think that you don't know what you're doing. But something else to realize is Apex Driving School, I haven't watched the video in a long time, and I'm pretty sure he used a Mercedes. The parts on all the different trucks are the same. They may be in different places. Like, say the alternator on an International may be different in a different place than an alternator on a Cascadia. I don't even remember where the Cascadia alternator was. So, but you know, learn the part and not just where it is, because if you know what the part looks like when you see it, regardless of where it is on the truck, you're going to be able to identify it. Realize that almost everything is properly mounted and secured. Like the windshield is properly mounted and secured. The mirrors are properly mounted and secured. Now, the mirror, would you say it's properly mounted and secured at both ends? Well, no, you wouldn't say that, because this mirror is only attached at one end. But are you going to get points deducted if you did say both ends? No. No. So, basically, almost everything is going to be properly mounted and secured, and it might be properly mounted and secured at both ends. Everything metal will be properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. CBB, cracked, bent, or broken. Okay. Anything that has rubber is going to be ABC. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Anything that's rubber. So, in that example I gave, you have an airbag that has metal, and then it has the bag itself, which is the rubbery piece. So properly mount, secure at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken for the metal, and then the rubber is no abrasions, bulges, and cuts. And then, like I said, that's not leaking. Then you have parts like shock absorbers, properly mounted and secure at both ends. It's made of metal, so it's not cracked, bent, or broken. It can leak oil. It's not leaking. Now, you don't have to know if it's leaking oil or water or air or coolant or whatever. You don't have to say that. You just have to say not leaking. So, if you do all of the parts in this manner, you're going to pass. It's a matter of learning the parts. The brake test, I'm not going to go into in this video. I'm not going to give you any pointers on that, because I really haven't. I am not a CDL instructor. I've been a team trainer for people that have the CDL already, so I admit that I have not kept up to date on the wording and the terminology that's needed. Okay. When it comes to the backing exam, make sure you understand what the point system is. I believe the points have changed over the years too, so make sure you ask your CDL instructor for a list of the points. When I tested, if you got out to look, which was what we call goaling, G-O-A-L, get out and look, and you left the door open, that was 10 points, and at 13 points you failed, which meant that you had to do a straight line back, one of the offsides, and a parallel, and you couldn't score more than 3 points if you didn't close that door. So make sure you close the door. In the parallel parking, if you parked on the white line, like say you were parking in this space over here and there's the yellow boundary lines, there's a white line that your driver's side would be along. If you parked in that line, when I tested, it was 5 points. Now, where I screwed up in my backing test, and I did fail, and I talk about that in another video, where I screwed up was I didn't get any points yet, and when I got in the box I was still on that line, and it drove me crazy in my head that I had needed to pull forward and back up and pull forward and back up. And by trying to do that, forward, back, I wound up building so many points, and I hit a cone, and just doing that pointed me out. If I would have just turned the truck off and parked on that white line, it would have given me 5 points, and I would have passed the backing test. But it was really me being too upset and not thinking. So really think about your points. When it comes to getting out to look, you get 1 get out and look for a straight line back. You get 2 get out and looks for each of the alley duck, the offset, and the parallel. Now, different states have different maneuvers you have to do. Some states might not test on a parallel, but they do make you do a 90 and an offset. So make sure you know what you're getting into. But you get 2 get out and looks, 2 goals for the majority of the maneuvers. Now, that 3rd goal, if you get out again, that's an automatic fail. It's an automatic fail. And I personally don't agree with it, because in real life you can get in and out as much as you want. Something that happened during my test was a guy got out and looked twice, and then he was sitting in the seat, and when he went to back up, he stuck his whole body out the window to look, and he got an automatic fail because they said that his backside came up off the seat, and therefore it counts as a get out and look. So do not lift your backside off that seat. If you're going to do that, then you might as well just get out and look. Because what would happen if you didn't realize that, and you're going like this, and then you get out and look once, and you come back and you move around, and then you get out and look twice. Now they counted that as 3 get out looks, and you only counted as 2. So now you just failed. When it comes to pull-ups, you get 1 free pull-up that doesn't count as a point when you do the straight line backs. Each additional pull-up counts as 1 point. On the rest of maneuvers, the parallel, the 90, the offset, you get 2 free pull-ups, and then each additional one is 1 point. So that's what happened to me with the parallel. Instead of me just parking on the line, I wasn't in there right, and I kept going forward and going back and going forward and going back. So I built up like, 10 or 12 points or something just by trying to get in that space completely, because I got nervous and I got upset and I wasn't thinking. So make sure you know your point system. Make sure you understand the reference points that your trainer is giving you. Each company is going to give you different reference points, and each trailer may have different reference points. Each truck. So like in my Cascadia, it was shorter, so when we turned, we looked at a certain part of the landing gear. But in the Peterbilt, you have to look at a different portion of the landing gear. So you can't really just ask somebody who doesn't have your truck or your type of trailer either for the reference points. Make sure you understand them. Also understand that you don't need to make really big steering wheel movements to correct things. Keep your elbows down at your side, and you only turn the wheel like this. You don't need to go like this all the time. When you go like that, you're going to wind up what we call oversteering, which I didn't understand then. I was like, what do you mean I'm oversteering? You told me to turn it all the way to the left. And really what it means is you held that position too long. So you wound up forcing the trailer to go in a different direction. Okay? So really only like this. Understand that the position of the tandems is going to make a difference. In our school, they slide the tandems all the way to the back because it allows the trailer to move more slowly, so you as a student would have more control. If the tandems are forward, the trailer moves more quickly. Now, some people will say, where's your problem? Turn towards it. I can't do that, because when I looked, I would say, well, I see that side's a problem, but this side's not going where it's supposed to either. You know, if you're backing up, what's happening? The back of the trailer's going this way, but the front of the trailer's going that way. So I couldn't learn it that way. You have to figure out what's going to work for you. And the way that worked for me was, I would actually say, which way do I need to move the back of my trailer? And then turn the opposite way. So if the back of your trailer has to go to the right, turn the wheel to the left. Okay. Then I would say, which way do I need to turn the front of my trailer? Okay. And you turn the same direction. So if I need the front of the trailer to go this way, I turn that direction. That's how I had to do it. You might come up with a different way. Your instructor may come up with a different way, and it works for you. Whatever works for you is what's going to get you past that test. Make sure that when you get down and look, that you know what you're looking at. Make sure you're completely inside the box. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfectly aligned, as long as that truck is inside that box. And ask your instructors if the lug nut covers in Missouri, people failed because their trainers had the lug nut covers that extended the lug nuts, and they were either on the line or outside the line, and that counted against them as an infraction. The mirrors might count. I don't remember. That sounds terrible, and I'm trying to give you advice, but I know that one of the instructors told me, even if it looks like it's okay, actually get on the line and walk all the way around the truck. Because if you can walk up that line and your legs don't hit those lug nut covers, or your head, you know, isn't going to hit that mirror, then you're good. So something else is, you get a time limit, and it's like 15 minutes for each maneuver, I believe. So take that time. If it works for you, use your own stopwatch so you realize how much time you have. When you get out to look, really look at what you're doing and think, okay, my trailer is too far over the left, so how do I move the trailer to the right? I need the back of the trailer to go to the right, so which way am I turning the front of the wheel? You need to go to the right, you're going to turn this to the left. So, and you don't turn it like, woo, you just turn it little bits, and then straighten it back out so that you're going to be able to correct it. It's much easier to fix something little by little than it is to go, woo, and now you're so far gone you don't know how to fix it. So those are some tips. When it comes to the actual exam of going over the road on the street, my suggestion to everybody, and everybody that I've told this to, told me that it calmed them down and it really allowed them to concentrate on what they were doing instead of the guy with the clipboard sitting next to them. I do know that Swift does test their people this way and train their people this way. They have a word for it. I don't know if it's called active testing, or it's called active something, active verbiage, but basically say everything you're doing. Read every sign out loud, because the examiner is going to want to question you to make sure you're paying attention to things, to make sure you're reading the signs. He doesn't know if you read the sign unless he asks you. So you're going to be nervous with all these cars around you, right? And you're going to be even more nervous when he starts asking you questions. But you can eliminate those questions by saying things like, okay, we're approaching the intersection, and that white pickup truck, he might jump out in front of us, and there's a red car coming flying up on my side, and okay, now we're going over the railroad tracks, so we're going to look both sides, and there's a bridge ahead of us that's 1312. 1312. Sorry. It's, 1310. Yes, we can get under that. And here's the sign. I even read the litter signs. Like, $300 litter fine. There was no way that he was going to, scare me. And what happened was, since I was concentrating on everything around me and I was saying it, I stopped even paying attention to him. And he didn't have to ask me anything. Another tip is to really exaggerate your head movements like this so that he can see that you're looking in your mirrors. A lot of guys, and I don't know if women want to do it, but you're a woman. I don't wear baseball caps, but a lot of women do. So wear a baseball cap so that the front of your hat is moving and exaggerating, because they want to know that you're looking in your mirrors. But if you're telling him, oh, there's a red car coming up on our right side, then he knows you looked in your mirror. And be sure to use all your mirrors. You have two over here that look at different positions, and you have the hood mirror. So I don't understand. Swift has on the sides of their trucks, you're in my blind side, but if you use your mirrors properly, there are no blind sides. The only thing that's blind is directly behind you. So understand that too. Make sure that you look in your mirrors. Make sure you use your turn signals. Swing wide enough. Make sure you're controlling your lane. But the thing that really got people to calm down was saying everything. Say everything. When it came to testing in the manual, you have to double clutch. So because of that, try to, if it's summertime, wear shorts so they can see your leg. Don't wear dark pants. Try to wear like white, lighter color pants that are visible, because if the inside of your truck is dark and you're wearing black jeans, they can't see you double clutching. That's a fail. In the clutch also, you need to stay in gear. So some people will like coast and they'll get out of gear and they're coasting. That's a fail. That's a fail if you go more than 75 feet, I think. So, you want to make sure you stay in gear. Also in the manual to be concerned with is making sure you're in the right gear so you don't stall. If you stall in the middle of the street and you impede traffic, that's an automatic fail. I'm a two-time loser with that. I did a video about my failures, and I failed the backing once and I failed the road test twice, because I couldn't control that clutch when it came. I wasn't downshifting far enough. So I would get up to a traffic light and be in 6th gear, and that's fine for you to stop and then reset, say into 3rd, and then take off in 3rd. But what I was doing was I'd get down to 6th and then I'd forget and I'd be nervous and looking around, and then when I try to take off, I was in too high of a gear for the speed I was going, and I would automatically fail due to stalling. On the pre-trip, most people who fail the CDL exam fail the pre-trip, and you take the tests in a certain order. So if you don't get past the pre-trip, you don't even get to back or drive. You fail the pre-trip, that's it, you're done. You have 3 chances, I believe, and state to state may differ. In Missouri, I had 3 chances, but I didn't need it because I Apex, go down and watch that, and I'll figure out a way to upload our pre-trip sheets that we use, and I'll post a link to that too. I could probably post them on like Google Drive or something for people to download. If the examiner on the pre-trip asks you questions, then most likely he's given you a hint that you said something wrong or you forgot something when it came to that part. So say the examiner says to you, could you go back and do the brake chamber again? It might be that you said properly mounted and secure at both ends, but you didn't say cracked, bent, or broken. Or maybe you said cracked and broken, but you didn't say bent. He might be giving you another chance to redeem yourself. And during the backing, if you understand the point system and you realize you get to a point where you need 13 to fail and you've already done most of the maneuvers and you're at the last maneuver, if you really think that you need to hit a cone to get it in and then pull up and straighten out, if you hit that cone, it's 2 points. So if you didn't have any points accumulated yet and you hit that cone, then it's 2 points and you're able to straighten out and get in that box, then you do what you have to do. You know, nobody's gonna come back and say, oh man, you ran over that cone in your test. Like, nobody's gonna do that. So, and don't let people make you nervous. If you know what you're doing, then you know what you're doing. Toxic people can sometimes try to scare you because they failed and they want you to fail too. So don't take that. It goes back to your confidence level and your knowledge, and when you know something and you can handle it, then you're gonna do great. So I hope this helps you. If there's any CDL instructors or trainers or whatever that can comment below. If you have questions, comment below. If I'm wrong about something, then please comment below and let us know. And I think I'm going to try to put the pre-trip and maybe even my CDL tip sheet online for you guys. So like, comment, subscribe, share, and I hope to see you out here trucking along once you pass, because I want to see a picture of the CDL. I hope the picture's better than mine. Bye-bye.